Hello my lovelies, happy Friday. It's Friday Ascension update. It's me, Tim Wild, not quite in the woods today, but I am outside enjoying this beautiful weather that we're having in England at the moment, and just reflecting on what this Sirius Portal is bringing through, and how much fun we're all having energetically. To say the least, it's a potent time, but there's something that I just kind of want to dive into because I've been asked a few questions about it, and it's what I was talking about in WAGs actually, or a little bit what I was talking about in WAGs on Wednesday, the Wednesday Ascension group support, which some of you may know about, and if you haven't, the details to kind of like check it out will be underneath. And just before I dive into this, because this is YouTube and I'm growing the channel, I'd like to invite everybody who is listening, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, comment, all the rest of it. So right, okay, that's that bit over and done with now. I want to talk about the master lifetime that we're all having. Now, it's something that I've kind of dropped or drizzled into conversations on many occasions. My good friend Diana Cooper talks about it, the lovely David Essery talks about it. The master lifetime, the lifetime that you and me are having on this planet at the moment. What could it mean? What's master lifetime? Why now? You know, what's master about it? Like, do you feel like a master today? Have you woken up with your master robes on? You'd be feeling masterful. I think, if I'm really honest, most of the days we're waking up at the moment, we're feeling about as far removed from a state of mastery as we would look at others, or we would look at the ascended masters, as we could possibly be. We have been programmed to feel insignificant, separate, powerless, and all of the other fun things that we learnt in our primary socialization when we begun our lives in the third dimension. Now, that's quite an important an important boundary to remember, that if you are listening to this, the chances are that you were born before 2012. I mean, hats off to you if you were born after that point, because you would have been born into the fourth dimensional window that we are currently in, and experiencing that massive movement of energy from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, all compounded into a tiny little window of time that extends for 20 years. So on Wednesday in WAGs, the Wednesday Ascension group support, I was talking about the fact that we are sat in the middle of the Sirius Portal at the moment. It peaks on the 7/7. So this is the point in time at the moment, you know, now listening to me at this, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, whenever. The window of energy kind of begins on the 2nd and it peaks on the 7th. And this is where the Sun and Sirius and Earth all align with each other, and there is an extremely powerful stream or downloads of basically Sirius energy. Seriously, I had to put that one in there. And it gives us the opportunity to kind of expand where we are, bring more knowledge, more wisdom, kind of more mastery into our personal situations. And a lot of us are very familiar with the Sirius energy. We've trained for lifetimes in the universities of Sirius. We'll be well acquainted with Lord Katumi, who is basically the president of the learning planes of Sirius universities, and they're called the various halls, or the educational establishments in this plane, in this 7th to 9th dimensional realm, are known as the halls of learning. And we put a lot of information about the halls of learning in the book that Diana Cooper and I wrote together in 2015, 10 years ago now, believe it or not. And so we described each of the halls of learning, what you can learn there, the curriculums that are basically apply to human beings who are earthbound, who are committed to a pathway of spiritual evolution on earth, but are wanting to train fastidiously in various spiritual capacities before coming down here. And many of us will also be going there at night time. We'll be like, right, I want to learn some more about this. I want to bring this into my pathway. This will be supportive for what I do. And so the learning continues. We will never stop learning. Okay, we're not going to finish this lifetime on earth regardless of what we've achieved and just kind of go, do you know what? That was great. My soul has stopped developing now. You know, go back, hand your notice into your monad, go, right, okay, that was great, thank you. I'm going to basically go on holiday for the rest of my soul's existence. Very tempting after the way that we've kind of been running for the past God knows how many incarnations. So I'm sure many of us will be taking a break at the end of this one, but the soul's evolution will continue. It's a never-ending cycle. It's a process of continual learning. So there is a particular cycle that you will have been through, and that I will have been through, and that everybody else on the light pathway, whether they're visible yet or planning to be so in the near future. This is our master lifetime. We've been here and we've been trained and we've done so much work on the soul evolution to assist us to go through what we're going through at the moment, what we're helping, what we're anchoring in, what is going on Earth on the shift from 3D to 5D. And I felt so aligned with bringing through information about Sirius on Wednesday because of the opening of the portal, but also how aligned with our process the beings of Sirius are. So you've probably heard me talk about this before if you've been following the channel, but I put the question out because I've always been very curious about our process. Why are we here? Why are we on this planet at this particular time? We've chosen to incarnate at precisely the point of which an ascension process is occurring. And the ascension process that we're going through is happening in a remarkably short space of time. So it begun on the 21st of December 2012, and it's due to conclude on the December solstice of 2032, leaving a window of 20 years. And the thing that makes this so unique and remarkable are, first of all, we're choosing to ascend currently in a physical body. Usually ascension means leaving the physical. You ascend, you discard your earthly robes and you go about your non-physical business, free of all of the trappings of a body and physicality and all the rest of it. And so we're retaining for the time being a physical body, but we're holding the ascension frequencies, we're holding the fifth dimensional vibration, we're transcending the benchmark of polarity to as much as we possibly can and moving into a state where we will be predominantly heart-centered. So we are going through the evolution, we are going through the ascension process, but we're doing it slightly differently. First of all, we're doing it in 20 years. Crazy short period of time to be undergoing this level of transformation. And secondly, we're retaining physical. We may not do that in the future. We might well, once we've moved, up the vibrationary ladder even further, it would be perfectly within our rights to choose to shed the physical. But there's been something so precious about the experience of Earth, of having a physical body, having that tangibility, touch, sight, taste, the ability to physically pick up and hold a crystal in my hands and to be able to feel it. And a lot of this is not attainable in the way that it is here on Earth in the higher realms. So whereas many of us regard being on Earth as some kind of ball and chain, a curse that we can't wait to be rid of, in actual fact, there is so much beauty and so much positivity, and so many things that if we left the physical that we would miss immediately. So with regards to the beings of Sirius, they went through a very similar process to us. I asked, I put the call out, I went, is there anybody out there who knows what we're going through? Is there anybody who work with us as humans on Earth, spiritual aspirants? Has anybody done what we're doing? And there was basically a lot of no, you know, what you're doing is unique. And I said somebody else must have had similar circumstances or learning capacity as we do here, and the closest that came, the ones that came the closest to us, it's a very noisy airplane, what was the Sirius learning plane. So they went through a similar ascension process to us. There were differences, remarkable differences, but there were also similarities. They went from physical to non-physical. They went from basically having a similar setup to us, and they went through the ascension process, and now they are where they are in the higher realms, functioning as a university plane, the planes of higher learning for most of it. And they took 300 years. Okay, one of them stepped forward, and it was Lord Katumi, and said, we went through what we did what we did, but it took 300 years. So for 300 years they went through the same process that we're doing in 20, and that just made everything, it didn't make it feel better, because when I was asking that question, things were very, very intense. It was like we've been through these ups and downs, this yo-yoing of the process, where one minute we're linear, everything's relatively calm, and the next thing is like, you know, we're on a rocket ride. It's probably asking around Lionsgate, I should imagine. So 300 years they took to do what we are doing in 20, and the circumstances were similar but not the same. So this particular event that we are all gathered here for on Earth at this moment in time, it's unique, it's fast-paced, it's moving in a way that was unpredictable even to the beings in the Intergalactic Council, the higher realms. They're all looking at what we're doing and how we're doing it, and basically saying, now is the time, okay? Now is the time to be who you are and who you have incarnated to be in your fullest. Be the master that you have incarnated to be. And when we're going through what we're going through on Earth, it sounds almost like a bit of a platitude, like empty words. You know, what could we possibly be doing that's masterful? Molly, no, sorry, I'm chickening my dog up. Playing up in front of me. It's really quite distracting. I'm trying to talk about this, and I've got these two playing up. Anyway, onwards. So this is the master lifetime. We've had the conditioning of the third dimension, which left us with a seeming lack of connection to source, to God, to our higher selves. We had the third eye completely cloaked, so we can not remember who we are or any of our origins when we first came down here. And yet here we are. We are remembering. We are taking on the mantle and adopting that master role. So you will have had multiple lifetimes, maybe even hundreds, to train you specifically for what you are going through now, what you are undergoing, what you have taken on, the level of cosmic responsibility that you hold here on this planet. And things are getting real. The world out there has now changed significantly enough for all of us to be required to step into that role, that master role, not to just half wing it, to, you know, like master one day, kind of, you know, staggering around, not really knowing what we're doing the next. It's a way of being. Okay, it is a conscious choice, words that are spoken that have meaning. The three most powerful words that I have spoken in the last 20 years were spoken to Serapis Bey. He said, are you ready? And I turned around and said, I am ready. That's all I needed to say. It was at the point where in 2008, I had received information about who I was in Atlantis and what my role on this planet was, that there was an ascension process coming up and it was very close. I knew all of this at the time. The information was already out there. We'd already built ourselves up for it. But we had absolutely no concept of how it was going to begin, how it was going to play out, the energies that would be involved. And I would never have been able to see or perceive that we would be where we are today. The millions and millions of us around the world, the light workers that have united and begun to come together to basically create the changes that we are creating together. But it's now got to a point where the greater picture is so affected by our anchoring of the mighty I Am presence that we're being called into our master roles. So for lifetime after lifetime, you will have trained for this one. You will have had very dark lifetimes, you'd have had tough lifetimes, you'd have had lifetimes where you've carried karma and recycled on the previous time that you were here. And all of this would have been to basically create the individual, the soul representation that you are today. Okay, the one that has come down here with your keys, your codes, your gifts, your talents, and your role, your master role for this lifetime. So this is the one. It's not going to be the next one along. It's not going to be the one after that. It's now, here, on this planet, in this form, in this body that you have chosen to come down here in. And regardless of how limited you may feel, this is the one. Okay, so you might be feeling the stirrings, you might be feeling the promptings, you might have already got yourself onto your pathway to a significant degree. We're being asked to step it up even further. Okay, so if you haven't done so already, even if the words don't feel like they have meaning at this particular time, if you're searching for your role, if you've been wandering around asking the universe, what am I here for? You might have already been doing a spiritual job. You might already be completely committed to what you're doing, but you still feel like there's something more. You don't feel like you have hit that master nail on the top with the hammer. Now is the time. Okay, as we move through the Sirius Portal, as we head towards the Lion's Gate, which everybody knows that it's coming up in August. It's that fun time where especially Leos such as me begin to wonder why I chose that set of planets, because it's so powerful. It's been so powerful in the past. This is the period of time where all of that energy, all of these questions that you've been asking, even if you don't know the answers to them, I am ready. Okay, now when you say that with conviction to the universe, when you say, I am ready, and you mean it, your highest role, what you have come here for, begins to play out. And that's what we're here for. We've had the preparation, we've had the training, the changes are underway, the energies are just coming in relentlessly. And those energies aren't there as our enemies. They're not here to make us feel tired or fill our day with ascension symptoms or difficult tests. They are to help us evolve and actually change into this lighter, higher, simplified version of ourselves. And the key to the ascension process is simplicity. If you look at the way that the third dimensional matrix is geared up, the way that it is made to be complicated, it is made to be challenging and testing and draining and stressful and everything else. And instinctively we're just saying no to this now. We don't want to know anymore. So we're beginning already just simply by saying no, expressing our disinterest and walking away from it. we're already creating that alternative system, that system which is going to be our foundation energies will be the support for this. It's already in place, that golden network of light all around the planet. So 3 words: I am ready. And make sure that you are saying this to somebody. I mean, the universe is always listening, your angel is always listening, your guides are always listening, but you will have a team that is dedicated to you to assist you. So if you're listening to this and maybe like you are new to this pathway and you're like, I am a million miles away from this, you're not, okay? Because the people that have woken up more recently, especially in the last 5 years, just everything happens so fast. And you will have already been through a set of energy protocols that would have brought you to the awakening point now. Everybody's here in place, ready. The consciousness is rising. The veils are falling away from the third eye. The world is changing. And so are we. So let's get on it. I think this is going to be a really exciting second half of this year. And looking forward to it. So I will be back next week. We'll be kicking off the week with WAGs on Wednesday Ascension group support. Another update on Friday, and I'm going to be with my good friend David Essery, hopefully. And then on Sunday night, it'll be the 7th episode of the Sunday Night Ascension Club, which is a Zoom event. Inviting you all to that. We're going to be looking at spiritual persecution and releasing all of the energy from that, because that goes back a fair old way. But I love you all very much. Have a beautiful weekend, and yeah, see you soon.